Good evening from our CBS newsroom in New York on this, the first broadcast of network television's first daily half-hour news program.
Well, thank you for that, Walter, and welcome everybody to this historic first transmission of Bartold Biomechanics Daily News. We've got a couple of huge stories for you today, starting off with the news, of course, that the often controversial head of FIFA, the World Football Administration Organisation, Sepp Blatter, has resigned finally. The media are reporting that for many of them, they felt it was only a blatter of time. Can we get better material than this? It's rubbish. The other huge story that's come out of the press this morning is that the world's top athletics coach, Alberto Salazar, who is the head of Nike's Oregon project in Portland, Oregon, faces allegations of doping. The BBC has reported that Salazar and his star athlete Galen Rupp are at the centre of doping allegations. The full report is at www.bbc.com, and the BBC have produced a 1 hour presentation on their Panorama program. It's very interesting, I saw it myself, and you can have a look at that on YouTube on the link you see below. Both Galen Rupp and Alberto Salazar have released press statements proclaiming their innocence, but it's going to be very interesting to see where this story goes in the next few days. Getting on to matters more scientific, the AFL today, the Australian Football League today, released its 2014 AFL Injury Survey. This has been going now for 23 years. It's an incredibly useful resource for those of you that are not familiar with it. And it showcased the lowest number of injuries in 9 years. There's some suggestion this may be because of the changes to the interchange rule, 120 interchanges per game. However, the impact of this is not certain. An average of 146 games were lost per club in 2014, and the surveys interestingly showed a higher incidence or a higher rate of foot stress fractures in 2014 and an increase in the severity of shoulder injuries. I guess this is as evidenced by the injury to the league's best player, Gary Ablett, last year. The incidence of concussion continues an upward trend, and you may see the full report at www.afl.com.au. A couple of studies now we're going to have a look at. The first one is a study entitled "The Effect of Barefoot and Shod Running on Limb and Joint Stiffness Characteristics in Recreational Athletes." Now, I suppose I should have had a little clue about this because it was released by the School of Sports Tourism at the University of Central Lancaster, and in fact they didn't look at barefoot runners at all, and so I'm not even going to talk about this paper. A good paper, however, has come out of the University of Queensland, and this is the final one we'll discuss in this short bulletin. Queensland physiotherapist and academic Bill Vincenzino's group at the University of Queensland looking at physiotherapy versus corticosteroid infiltration as a first-line treatment for chronic lateral epicondylitis. It's an interesting paper, it's very well designed, it's a randomised controlled trial done properly with quite a large cohort of 165 people. The study concluded that physiotherapy, not corticosteroid injection, should be considered as the first-line intervention for lateral epicondylitis. A paper of particular interest to physiotherapists, but I think also this is something that piques all of our interest. We use it a lot in lower limb injury, particularly in the plantar fascia, and I certainly have been a vocal opponent of this over the years. We might be able to take some cues out of what we learned from the Vincenzino study in relation to infiltration of cortisone in other areas. That's it for today. I'm going to bring you daily news from now on, so you're going to see my smiling face on TV whether you like it or not, and I hope we'll be able to evolve this. Thank you so much for watching. Adios. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now. How's that? Went quite well, I think. Yep. Yep. How's the hair? Hair's all right? Tan? Tan looked all right? Good. Thank you.